In all honesty, this little segment here probably could have piggybacked off the back of the last video, but hey, we're here. And this is going to be specifically about sports, and rather the wild world of sports that you might remember from when you were a kid. Yeah, it's been replaced with the wild woke of sports. Ha, very clever. Jemele Hill. Ugh. And to think, I used to like her appearances on Around the Horn. Donovan McNabb to host dishonest special on discrimination against black quarterbacks. That's not overselling it whatsoever. ViceTV, yes, that's still a thing, is proudly sending around an email today announcing its upcoming special, Fear of a Black Quarterback. Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Michael Vick, half of Patrick Mahomes, Vince Young, who's too stupid to even tie his cleats, but he still managed to get drafted first overall. Those are just the ones that immediately come to mind, but no, there's a fear of a black quarterback. Apparently, according to ViceTV, but who really cares? Jemele Hill, Donovan McNabb, and Sean King. No, not Talcum X. In fact, a former quarterback, I think he used to play for either the Lions or the 49ers. I seem to remember that name. Are among the contributors. We can hold out hope, though. In a press release, ViceTV says the special will focus on discrimination black players in the NFL have faced, and how the log line continues. Yes, a league that's like 70% black is facing discrimination. Sure, pal. On the day of the NFL draft, ESPN heavily promoted a column in The Undefeated that falsely claimed that the NFL is trying to keep the QB position as white as the painted yard lines on the field. What? No. Have you seen the shift out there of what the current offensive systems are? It's the read option, okay? Some variation of that. It's an athletic quarterback with a big fucking arm. Why do you think the Jets just shipped off not Travis Darno? That's a catcher. Sam Darno. They shipped him out to Carolina in order to draft Zach Wilson, who has a huge fucking arm. Okay? Was that racism? No. Was that just building a team? Yes. And I know that that's a white guy from a white guy, but that's like going from a piece of paper to a halogen light bulb. Like, fucking Wilson used to play at BYU, so yeah. And Mac Jones, the guy who's going to be the successor to Cam Newton for the New England Patriots, who is white, was ultimately drafted after both Justin Fields and Trey Lance, who are black. So that kind of busts that narrative, and I don't look forward to this special presentation for Vice TV, but it's Jemele Hill. She'll say something functionally retarded out there, just like she had for Joe Manchin, because as a sports analyst, you should be talking about West Virginia senators. Okay, weird. Joe Manchin, a white supremacist white dude. He's on your team, apparently, so that's cool. You can never be left enough for leftists, but now we'll pivot over to a league that's even darker, but apparently has even more racism in it, or something like that. I don't know. Former first overall pick, Kwame Brown. Yeah, he's been making the rounds lately, and he's been calling out everyone. NBA star Kwame Brown shocks as he blasts fake woke. What? N. S. Ends. Weird. Who support Joe Biden, says they're the new version of the KKK based. Former NBA player Kwame Brown has unleashed rage in a new political rant, blasting black and liberal Joe Biden supporters as the new version of the Klan, who won't allow independent thought. How can you not say that's the case in the modern day? Right now, Jesus, I used to be able to just localize this to the NBA, but you got the NFL playing the fucking black national anthem because that's a thing before games in the first weekend, or the first weekend of the season. Stupid. Nobody except for 7 Twitter weirdos know about that, but okay, yeah, it's enough of an outrage to go ahead and disrupt the league and your ratings. Or baseball, whatever the fuck is going on right now over there. That one just hurts because a lot of people have Saturday morning cartoons that they latch onto, or Star Wars or whatever other programs they used to watch as a kid. But for me, it was baseball. And then the path that they've been traveling down lately, I just can't support them. And it sucks, but I'm a man of standards and morals. But the NBA, yeah, had a passing passing understanding and a passing appreciation for the league. Back when the big three in Boston, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen all got together, I really liked that team because I was a big fan of Kevin Garnett because, yeah, he made the Minnesota Timberwolves relevant back when they had literally nobody else. It was just KG and a bunch of bums, and he would drag them to the playoffs every year. The guy was a beast, he was vicious, and the last of a dying breed. And now it's just all perimeter shooting, 15-foot jump shots, and a bunch of European guys I can't properly pronounce their names of. It's soft, it's not fun, and the post-game press conferences have just devolved into different ways of proving how pure you are in the eyes of the great King James. But Kwame Brown, who's been out of the league for a minute, is finally taking shots because he can see the league just devolving into absolute dog shit. A game that he dedicated his life to. He's seeing devolve to a point of hopefully no return. Hopefully he's going to be able to call this stuff out, and he's been doing it a lot. He's been taking shots more recently, but this is when he first came out, first broke. Brown has been making headlines in recent days for his no-holds-barred freeform videos and interviews where he has held nothing back when discussing his critics and his beliefs. The former NBA player who played 12 seasons and was a #1 draft pick really let loose, however, when recently touching on politics. We're going to skim past. In an Instagram video which began recirculating and gaining attention on Thursday, Brown criticized unnamed Democrats who tried pressuring him into voting for Biden, whom the athlete says doesn't stand for Black America. Well, yeah, his track record speaks for itself. What do we have to show for it, Brown said. He's driving about Black Americans voting Democrat. He then blasted those who shame Black people, who choose to vote Republican, or who move their support away from liberal causes. You fake woke Negroes are the worst, man. You all are the worst thing in the Black community. You fake woke gamers won't allow independent thought because I don't care who you vote for. I ain't never cuss nobody out for voting for the Democratic Party. I ain't ever called anyone a coon or was disrespectful. None of that, you motherfuckers. The guys who do that, you all are the new version of the KKK. White folks don't got to do nothing. You are the new version of the KKK. Pretty basically put, but tend to agree with them. Brown's rant. That's tough to say back to back. I didn't realize that before. Came as a surprise to many since much of the NBA's top stars are only aligned politically when they are supporting left-leaning movements. LeBron James and Black Lives Matter, for instance. Brown has appeared to go against the political grain for quite some time, though. In videos posted to his YouTube channel in recent months, Brown has defended Donald Trump and even criticized the Black Lives Matter movement for playing the race card and not helping on actual issues in the Black communities. Oh, he must have heard from Breonna Taylor's family. Who was it? The little girl who was gunned down in Atlanta, 8-year-old. I forget her name. I feel bad about that. How Black Lives Matter did nothing for them and in fact led to her death. But yeah, this is a point that you can bring up when you're on the outside looking in. But when you're somebody who's on the inside, on a very prestigious panel, you gotta kind of potentially sort of walk the line, because being a sports analyst or some sideline reporter, you pretty much have to toe the company line. Unless, of course, you're a big personality who's more of a draw than the platform themselves, like Shaquille O'Neal. We all know his background. He's been deputized in several states. He had a reality show where he was out being a sheriff, if I do recall correctly. And yeah, he's been pretty vocal about his support for independent thought. And you can draw the conclusions where you want. And then there's another person on the same panel who is probably even more popular for his opinions that he expresses. And he's one of the last broadcasters out there to actually do that. And now Shaq's going to be alone out on his island because Charles Barkley is stepping away from inside the NBA, the most popular, bar none, pre-game, post-game, mid-game show for any sport on any channel. It's not even close. And he was one of the last people that was out there that, you know what, I really appreciated his commentary because, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He was playing at the time that Jordan was out there. He was playing at the time that Bird was out there, when all of the best players of the previous generation were there, and he was one of the best out there. So his insight is important, and somebody that I really respect for speaking his mind and stating his points. And now, because, yeah, he doesn't really hold a hell of a lot back, the mob has come for him. And I thought he would have been able to weather this storm, but he's going to be stepping away, mostly because he rebuilt his fortune, because, yeah, he was foolish like many other athletes during their time with their career earnings. he's amassed the fortune. He'll be able to go out there and get any job he wants. If he wants to pursue the sports analysis field, he'll be able to go wherever the fuck he wants after this. I hope it's online. I hope it's with a platform that values free speech and not just moving over to, I don't know who else has NBA rights, and frankly, I don't care if it moves over to ABC. I think that would be unexpected, but highly unlikely in and of itself. And I just hope that this sparks a new wave of sports coverage. It just returns back to the people who actually watch sports and not appealing to weirdos on social media. But like you're saying here, can't have fun nowadays. You can if you don't care. And hopefully he continues with that frame of mind going forward. Charles Barkley has often said he didn't expect to be the award-winning Inside the NBA host for this long. Barkley has been a part of the show since 2000 and has won 4 Sports Emmys Award for Outstanding Studio Analyst. But the 58-year-old Naismith Hall of Famer has some thoughts of when he will say goodbye to his television gig. I'm trying to hang on for another couple of years until I'm 60, and then they can kiss my ass. I'm only working until 60, Barkley told WJFK 106.7 The Fan in Washington earlier this week. I've already told them that. I'm not working until the day I die. That's just stupid. And if I don't have enough money by now, I'm an idiot anyway. They should fire me anyway. Barkley says he blames the current stigma of cancel culture where past behavior or comments can land you in hot water. If I crack a joke the wrong way, they're like, oh, no, you crossed the line, Barkley said. I mean, they won't even let me talk about San Antonio anymore when I'm talking about the big old women of San Antonio, which I don't know what the basis is. Her basis of it is. It's just a funny name, or it's just a funny thing to bring up. It's one of those old tactics, right? Like, I watched a hell of a lot of pro wrestling growing up, and it's one of those cheap heat things. It's like, your local sports teams suck. Oh, your local women are ugly. And based on where Charles Barkley played most of his career in Phoenix and in Houston, yeah, San Antonio seems like a logical destination for him to focus some of his criticism on. Just fucking schoolyard insults. Big old women of San Antonio. Oh, that's mean. That's fatphobic. Shut up. You're so insulted, you got a new fucking runway show that you can go take part in, you fat cow. They're like, Charles, we got one lady who wrote an article. Ooh, one lady who wrote an article. Oh, let me clutch my pearls. I'm like, first of all, I didn't call anybody personally fat in San Antonio. I was joking around. Exactly. His bosses at Turn Sports have talked to him frequently about jokes. Or about taking jokes too far. That's all we ever talk about behind the scenes. Yo, man, be careful. We're going in this direction. I'm like, yo, man, we can't even have fun anymore. Yeah, and that's the current climate of the world, really. And that's what this used to be about. Fun. You can't poke fun at the big generalities out there. Quite frankly, you're being a little too precious for all of society. So just go home, wrap yourself in some bubble wrap, start with the head, and then just see how far you can get down. Because maybe society just ain't for you. Okay, we could get a hell of a lot more mean and vicious if you want, but just making an innocuous joke like that, something that amounts to "yo mama's so fat," making one of those jokes, if you get offended by that, I don't know what to tell you. But that right there is why we're going to be in for some darker days, because they're coming for sports now, and it doesn't seem like that anticipated pushback is really coming anywhere on the horizon. Like, a lot of people were speculating, okay, yeah, you can go after movies, you can go after TV shows, you can go after video games, you aren't going to really push back, but when it starts to affect real people with real interest in things that are not normally political whatsoever, then you start to get pushback. Yeah, we see it in other endeavors as well. Oh, as soon as it affects me, then I'm going to start to push back. I'm going to have a backbone all of a sudden. Well, guess what? It came for something tangible like sports, and nobody's pushing back against it. Enough people are tuning out, but revenues aren't going anywhere right now, so we're going to have to ride this one out for a little bit longer, I'm afraid. And yeah, it's going to claim all of the good analysts, so it's just going to be those guys that talk with the puker voice. We're here today in Milwaukee. It's a beautiful 68 degrees outside. A little bit of wind coming in from the west, and we got Ryan Braun coming up to the plate. It's just going to be those motherfuckers left, and nobody wants to listen to that stuff. My favorite broadcaster, he got hit with a little bit of that cancel culture to begin with. He got hit with some fake Me Too allegations, which at this point, which ones are actually real? Might as well just drop the redundancy. Greg Zahn, sports analyst for the Toronto Blue Jays. The guy was great. He was terrific at his job. He actually laid down criticism, and he was the first person that I recall getting under Marcus Stroman's skin, which has become increasingly thinner and thinner as the years gone on. And yeah, some bitch from years ago made up some weird allegations, and Rogers Sportsnet decided to cut ties with him, and nobody's heard from him since. That sucks, because that dude was sharp. He taught the audience stuff about the game. And now, I don't even know who's on the panel. It was the highest rated MLB pregame and postgame show that was out there. But yeah, because some bitch was like, my feelings got hurt a long time ago. He's gone. And now guess what? We got some bitches, some undefinable, fucking metaphorical bitches out there in San Antonio. Oh, you're calling us fat. Yeah, not really. And they're getting more play than Charles Barkley. You know, the Hall of Famer, the award-winning analyst. Yeah. Cool. I love this world that we're going into. Well, with that said, guys, I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.